Alrighty, we are back. I don't know why it's coming up as UFC 325. It doesn't say that for me, so not really sure what's going on there. But regardless, we are back for UFC Fight Night. Bautista taking on Vinicius Oliveira. Welcome back to another episode of the Wager Wise podcast brought to you by Dribble Sport and your boy Desperate Times Ryan. Ryan, how are you, my friend?
I'm great this morning, ready to talk about this very, very interesting fight card with my brother.
Love that, man. Love that. Yeah, it is an interesting fight card. It's I don't know. There's a lot of closely lined fights. There's some, there's some going to be some interesting takes. There's also some, pretty steep favourites that potentially are bettable. Some that are unbettable. There's a whole range of things on this card. It's pretty wide variety of skill levels across the board too. So most likely means it's going to be a pretty fun card in my opinion. What do you think about this one before we get into it?
Yeah, there's not too much name value, but I think there's a lot of sleeper matchups.
Yeah, 100%. Quite a few women's fights as well, but some of them are actually quite interesting. So I'm pretty keen to talk about this one. Before we do, quickly, like, comment, subscribe. How did you go for UFC 325? I didn't get to watch it because I was busy with some work stuff. So I was fucking occupied over the whole time, but I got to watch a little bit of a recap. But what did you think of the whole card?
Nightmare card for me betting wise, but I still managed to finish just slightly in the green.
Nice.
But man, Torres Finney broke his foot in the first 10 seconds of the
Oh,
fight, and
wow.
it was just he fought like absolutely after that. Um, Khan Offley, I didn't bet on that fight, but I rewatched it. I wasn't really paying attention to the fight while I was watching, but that was one of the worst robberies you'll ever see. Um, he very clearly lost that fight. I don't know how you could score that for Khan Offley in the slightest. Yizar 30-27 would have been a slightly better scorecard in my opinion. Suling Rainbow absolutely shat the bed, had him for KO. Sangwoo Kim shat the bed as well. Billy Alakana did good.
Yeah.
Cam Roston did good. Quillan Falkfield, he went the way of submission. A lot of people had him by knockout, and his knockout was paying minus 130, but he went in there with intent to get a sub. Mauricio Ruffy, very good knockout against a very tough Fiziev. Hopefully he starts making strides in the division. They stopped matching him up with grapplers, just put him against exciting strikers. Um, Taliesin Teixeira in an absolute ball fest. I very much regret not playing my ladder
Yeah,
fight to start round two over fight to start round three on that. I would fight goes the distance was about plus
that's
800,
insane.
which would have been right up my alley. And Benoît Saint Denis pretty much did what he had to do. I don't think he looked great against Hookers. He kind of looked like he came in sort of sick. I don't know what it was but he made quick work of him. And yeah, the main event, it was pretty much a repeat of the last fight. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, nice takes. I think with the BSD thing, he is pretty vulnerable early in round one. You can crack him for sure and potentially get him out of there. But if you don't, his style is so exhausting that if you're moderately tired
Yeah,
or you're down even if he's tired, if you're remotely similar in terms of output or what you've got left, he's gonna fucking take you down and he's gonna maul you. And that's exactly what happened in that fight. Hooker,
exactly.
exactly like I was saying in the lead up to that one, he's a front kick merchant. It's pretty much the only thing he had success with. And then I'm not sure what he was thinking trying to grapple with BSD in the second round. I really that has to be like he is an idiot. He's a fucking idiot. Like we can just say it. I don't know how you can bet on that guy at this point, but I did see that one, and I do agree he didn't look great, but like he's kind of yet to really look great in there, and he's still dominating like some of these top
Mm.
15 guys. So I think when he does really start putting it together, he is going to have some success. But as I said, you can get him out of there early. So yeah, I thought that was a great fight. I still haven't yet to watch the main event. I don't know why. It's not that interest. I'm not that interested. Like given that I saw it kind of was a repeat of exactly what happened. I'm really not that intrigued to watch it again, to be honest. Obviously, I will at some point.
A repeat without it was a repeat without the big moments from Diego.
Yeah, bit of a bummer, but I am excited for Movzar versus Larone in a couple of weeks in March. So, you dare say that the winner of that is going to get the next title shot, which probably should have got the last title shot. But, anyways, all right, we have a fun card UFC Fight Night, Batista versus Oliveira. We're going to break it down bottom to top. If you've got any comments, let us know in the chat. We'll read them out. Other than that, you ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right, starting off with an absolute schmozzle of a fight. We have Claudio Saigula taking on Priscilla
Mhm.
Cachoeira in the women's bantamweight division prices. We have Claudio Saigula minus 150, the slight favourite. The comeback on Priscilla Cachoeira is plus 130. I might kick it off with this one. Like, kind of immediately, I see minus 150 on Claudia Saigula, and I'm not particularly enthused by that. I don't think she's very good. I think they both have very low ceilings in this division. With Cachoeira, you know, almost being done, you would have to think. I don't think she has a lifespan of more than probably three more fights in the UFC. I'd be surprised if we saw her past three fights more in the UFC, to be honest, just with the age and the damage and how she's looking. But to be honest, like this is probably a step up in competition somehow from Melissa Mullins and Irina Alexeva. Somehow, even at this point in Zombie Girl's career. And is Saigula really going to come in here and grapple and wrestle Cachoeira, which has been the way to defeat her for most of her career? I don't really think so. Look, she is starting to lose a little bit of her zombie durability, but like I'm not convinced that Saigula is like this massive power puncher anyway. Like I kind of think Cachoeira could probably take most of the damage from Saigula and be fine. And to be honest, yes, Saigula is the more technical, kickboxer. But if this gets dirty and this gets gritty, I kind of feel like Cachoeira is more reliable. To be honest, like in a pure dogfight, I kind of think that's where I would want. That's the side I'd want to be on, like regardless of the age and the wear and tear at this point. So yeah, it does seem like a fight where Saigula has the upside just given youth and less damage taken and stuff like that. But like I'm not paying moderate favorite price for a girl who's proved nothing to me, look like shit, and where Cachoeira is going to get more of a favorable fight than some potential other fights. So for me, it's a pass. I don't know how you could get to Saigula at favorite price, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of that. I actually think I expected wider odds coming into this fight. What you said is very, very true. This is sort of a step up, but not really.
Yeah,
But Capoeira, if you really look at her technically, like she stands so square. Like yeah, she brings good pressure forward. She stays in your face, looking to land something big, but she's got a very limited striking arsenal. She has like a very slow jab, a telegraphed rear hand. Like her best strike is that uppercut, and she does carry that rare one shot knockout power you don't quite see in women's MMA too often. Like she has knockout wins over Ariane Lipski, Josiah Nunez got her out of there with a round one
yeah, that
uppercut. That was
uppercut.
probably one of the
Yeah,
funniest fights I've ever watched ever. And Shana Dobson as well, the uppercut. The thing with Cachoeira is she's so hittable, especially as she's throwing. Like her chin is high, hands are low, and head is in the center line. And she has an okay sprawl and like first line of takedown defense, but once taken down, she can be. That's where she gets like really dominated. Claudia Segula, she's 1-1 in the UFC, coming off that win against Arena Alexeva. She has like a high volume kickboxing style, like always circling, staying light on her feet, and picking her spots. Her punches can be loopy, especially her right hand, but I think she stays composed enough. She does move her head off the center line. She counters well in close and angles out. Concerning things about her is that she tends to lean back with her chin high as she's moving backwards, and she can be forced on the back foot too much as well. Also lacks physicality against the fence, but I think she does have decent grappling ability. She can get body lock takedowns. She's flexible in the mats, and she's in a good training room in
Mm.
ATT. She trains with B Mosquito, um, Kayla Harrison at times, and yeah, in a training room with some decent sized grapplers. I don't doubt Segula will get caught a few times in this fight, but I feel like those instances will be too far and few between. And she is really good at punching with her opponent, where even if she gets hit with the first shot, she's able to answer back and land the last punch of an exchange. And Cachoeira, she just keeps her head right there as she's throwing. Like even if Segula just was to just mindlessly throw a hook, I'm pretty sure she's going to land. Not sure if she's going to have the power to drop her at all, but I think Segula will be a clear minute winner with her volume. She'll have success from distance. Like she can literally flick a jab out and snap Cachoeira's head backwards. And when she does start to extend her combos, which she does, she builds into the fights pretty well. Cachoeira only knows to back away in a straight line and try to cover up. And I think Segula has has pretty good blitzes forward and combos as she's blitzing. As for Cachoeira's offense, her entries into the pocket are so easy to read. She throws a slow jab as she's coming forward and loads up the right hand with so much telegraph. If Segula could deal with Alexeva, I think she can deal with this. I caught Segula last week at minus 125. I think that's an okay price if you're passionate on her side,
Yeah.
but I think minus 150 now is definitely not a price I'd want to pay. But yeah, I'm picking Segula for this one.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you said. I think she deserves to be the favourite for sure. I just don't think I can get to backing her with the favourite price tag. Just given like literally the best opponent we've seen her face in the UFC is probably Melissa Mullins, and she's fucking not that good to be honest. And Alex Seaver's dog shit as well. So it's a bit of a prove it spot. I think Cachoeira is still low level, so this really isn't going to prove that much. But I agree with the training room as well. The only thing is, can you imagine what fucking Kayla Harrison is doing to these bitches in the ATT training room?
Hmm.
Legit, like it would be murder. She would be murdering Saigula and Mosquito and all these girls at
Oh,
ATT. It'd literally be a massacre. All right, up the
yeah,
card
and
two.
she's also in a training room with that.
Sorry, continue.
She's also in a training room with that New Zealander. I forgot what her name is. Just made her
Oh yeah,
debut like late last
yeah
year.
the white blonde girl or whatever. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think we've got like a little delay, just FYI. So I'm not cutting you off. I just like when I hear you talk and I reply, it comes through a couple of seconds later. So I think there's just a touch of delay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all good. All right, up the card two, male bantamweight, just normal bantamweight now. We got Muin Gafarov taking on Jacob Big Watch. I think that's how you pronounce it from memory. It looks like Vic Lax, but I think it's pronounced Big Watch, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've heard that pronunciation.
Yeah, it's confusing when you look at it for the eye test. But anyway, we've got Gafarov minus 135. The comeback on Big Watch is plus 115. Ryan, does Gafarov shave the rat on his back and win this fight, or does Viklach come in here and submit him? Please tell me.
I think Gafarov shaves the rat off his back and gets the win. Look, this is a bit of an interesting one because we these are two fighters that just don't know how good they are. Like
Mm.
Gafarov, he is 2-2 in the UFC. He's coming off that pretty good win against Nakamura as a plus 430 dog. But that was a fight where Nakamura came in with a very ill advised game plan. But Wiklach, he beat Patchy Mix by split decision. I'm not sure he should have won that fight, but like still he competed all right. But I feel like he gassed like after that first round, but he just had like a even more gas than like very stiff Patchy Mix right in front of him. I'm going to lean the side of Muin Gafarov here. I think his physicality, as well as being way more well rounded and able to stay the course in a 15-minute fight, should see him get sustained success. Like, Wiklach is crafty with his grappling, and I feel he can put Gafarov in bad positions if Gafarov gets too eager in grappling exchanges. But on the feet, Gafarov will have his way for sure. Wiklach is there to be hit, and he doesn't have pop in his hands. He has that awkward striking style, like he's a little flat footed, easy to hit, but he just stays high in output. He does do good things with his front kicks and teeps, but yeah, he doesn't really offer too much of a risk there. If Wiklach shoots, I think Gafarov will be strong enough and reactive enough to stuff takedowns, disengage, and get back to striking. And I think Gafarov can accumulate top time as Wiklach will likely accepting to work from bottom. Like, I think he's not going to fight off being on the bottom for sure. That will be risky, but I think I do trust Gafarov to just secure position, work in his guard, and not allow any openings to sweep, reverse, or threaten anything from his back. He is very physical, and I felt Wicklash's success in his fight against Mix was from him capitalizing on Mix's mistakes, being opportunistic, and just fighting harder. And yet, I still thought he shouldn't have gotten the decision. However, I am glad the Patchy Mix run through the UFC just ended right there. Yeah, I'm taking Gafarov in this fight. I played him at -130. I think that's an all right number.
Yeah, I like the breakdown. I'm conflicted on this fight for a couple of reasons. I think Big Latch is going to have a pretty decent athletic advantage. He's a bit bigger, he's a bit stronger, he's a bit more physical. Yeah, he's a bit awkward in terms of his striking for sure, but I kind of really like the way he targeted all three levels versus Patchy Mix. Like, obviously Patchy Mix is way more stationary and a lot more hittable than Gafarov is going to be here, but like I thought his body kicks were really solid, whether they were teeps or roundhouses. I thought his ability to target the head and body with the cross, particularly, was really good. Knees in close in the clinch, elbows to the head and the mat. I just thought it was all pretty effective, especially considering he's a primary grappler. Um, I don't typically love the guillotine jumps, from a fighter, but it's pretty clear that he has a very good, guillotine entry. He's very good there, and he did have a fair few deep attempts versus Patchy, who's a very solid grappler. He showed me pretty good body control on the mat as well. Like, usually the sign of a good grappler is the ability to combine the use of the legs and the arms together in scrambles. And the way he was using the butterfly sweeps on the mat, I was really impressed with, again, against a very good grappler, Apache. So I think if this one goes to Matt, I think the advantage he's going to have down there is going to be pretty large, even if with him on bottom. I think he's going to be able to sweep. I think he's going to be able to take some top time if he gets there. So I like that for him. He did slow down in round three, round two, but I do think he'll probably look an improved version of himself here after, generally your debut performance can let you down potentially, and especially against an experienced guy. Say what you want about Patchy's run in the UFC, it was dog shit, and whoever called Patchy the best bantamweight in the world must be feeling like a real fucking idiot right now. But I think that's a decent watch, regardless. And I thought it was funny when I was going back and I was watching a few of Viklatch's old fights when he's fought the same guy 5 times on the Polish regional
Yeah,
scene. Like, how insane is that?
crazy.
Imagine fighting like it's like Figgy Moreno, but more. Like, it's actually I don't even know how that happens. But on Gafarov, I think he will have a striking advantage because he's just far more comfortable there. I'd say he's got more pop in particularly in his boxing in close. And as you said, Viklatch is very very hittable and there to be hit. So I do think he has the potential to knock him out on the feet. But I just kind of haven't been like that impressed with Gafarov. I think his performances vary a lot from good to bad. Like, you'll go back and you watch the Said Nurmagomedov fight. The way he dived into that guillotine and then just had no defense. Yeah, yeah. Said has a very good guillotine. Obviously, we all know that. But Viklac has one too. So I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that Gafarov is winning 7.5 minutes of this fight on the feet, hurting him, and dives into a guillotine and gets absolutely snapped up and shits the bed. I don't think that's. I definitely think that's in the realm of possibility. So I think on the feet, he's going to have potential to win and probably should win if it stays on the feet. But I think Viklash has such a big upside in terms of the grappling that I'm definitely not playing Gafarov. I like the look of under 2.5 rounds at plus 125. I think that covers a fair few angles. I think submission is very, very likely should we see grappling, and I think we probably will see grappling. Like, I don't think Viklash has great takedowns, but I do think Gafarov can be tracked down, whether it's in the clinch or against the fence or whatever. And I think if it gets there, I think Viklash will look pretty good. So I think under 2.5 covers a bit of volatility on both sides, and I'm getting good plus money on it. So I got under 2.5 rounds plus 125. I got 1.25 units on it. I like it.
Love it. Good play.
Alrighty, and I'm actually pretty keen for this fight. Hopefully Gafarov has
Maybe.
that rat shaved off his back because fuck, that makes me vomit every time I see it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, up the card two. Kong Wang Kong, whatever you want to call her, women's flyweight, taking on Eduarda Mora. Prices we have Kong Wang, pretty firm favorite, minus 350. The comeback on Eduarda Mora plus 285. I mean, we usually see Kong Wang at pretty steep favorite prices, even though we've already seen her get fraud checked at a huge favorite price of minus 950. She's coming after that minus 330 to Bruna Brazil, minus just under minus 600 to Ariana Lipski, and now she's minus 350 to Eduardo Mora. I don't love this fight, to be honest. Overall, like, I think while it's on the feet, she's gonna look. She will look a huge favorite. Like, the striking differential in this fight should be massive. I think she'll be able to target head and body very easily. She'll be able to chop the legs. Eduardo Mora is a big physical girl, but I think she's less big and less physical now that she's moved up to flyweight. Like, she was able to get on top of these girls in terms of strawweight, and really, dominate physically. Like, you're talking girls like Montserrat Ruiz and Denise Gomez, and yeah, Denise Gomez is a bit more of a butch style, but she is still small. And even Veronica Hardy, like, she's tiny for flyweight, so I don't know. I don't love what I saw from her, even against Lauren Murphy, who I think is someone that you probably should be having more of success against than she looked like. So if she thinks she's going to come in here and wrestle for 15 minutes, I kind of think she's in for a long night because Conlan can be a little bit hard to track down. Like, I don't think she's necessarily going to shoot a double and instantly get it. I think she could definitely do that, but I think she could have success maybe catching kicks or something like that. But as long as this stays on the feet, I really think she's in a bit of trouble, to be honest. I don't love it. Like, I'm definitely not running to play Kong Wang at minus 350 or above that, just given what we've seen from her. And I do think, like, if it goes to ground, she, she could be in a little bit of trouble. Like, I think she'd be fine defensively, but Eduardo Mora's a big girl. You definitely don't want her on top of her. And I do kind of question the chin of Kong Wang a little bit. I don't think Eduardo Mora is going to be the girl to take advantage of that, but I definitely do question that moving forward. So I think she wins for sure, but minus 350, I'm very happy to pass that, to be honest. I think she probably wins by TKO.
Yeah, don't have too much to add. It just comes down to Kong Wang's distance management, takedown defense, and defensive grappling through 15 minutes. Like, Mora has a way of imposing her physicality on elusive girls like Veronica Hardy, but stylistically, on the feet, Wang should be having target practice on Eduardo Mora and able to outclass her from distance and in her entries, especially early. I think she wins round one probably by a landslide. It just comes down to her cardio and anti grappling. And I think I've seen enough in Kong Wang's UFC fights to convince me she can play that distance striking game on Mura effectively through 15. And I think Mura's cardio is still kind of suspect. Like, I know she
Yeah.
gassed out when she was in flyweight, and now she's up heavier and in a heavier weight. And I think against Lauren Murphy, she was starting to even gas out, like like late round two, round three, though she pushed hard towards the end. And I just think that her coming forward, like, not having the success she usually has, like, imposing her physicality on girls and trying to work harder to get the takedowns will definitely wear at that gas tank. And she is a little too, like, when you see them striking, like she's a little too slow and plodding, in my opinion, compared to the fast, precise stand up of Kong Wang. So I even think if Kong Wang lands like something sharp, like right down the middle, I think she can really hurt Mora. Though I do still have some what's the word? I've bet on Kong Wang to get knockouts, and she's
Yeah.
just happily playing the distance game. So I'm just not gonna touch this fight. Like I think she should have gotten who was it Lipsky out of there? Was it Lipsky that she fought
Yeah.
last? Who
Yeah.
got her out of there? And she just wanted to play the point fighting game. I don't want to go through that again.
I completely agree. That's something I meant to touch on at the end is that she has looked like she's lost, like not lost, but doesn't have that killer instinct. Like I think she hurt Lipsky to the body badly twice, or something from memory, and she looked like she could have stepped on it and potentially got her out of there, but she hasn't looked to it. The only thing that's getting me interested in the TKO line here is that, well, one, it's plus 400 when her price tag is minus 350, whatever the fuck she is. That's one thing that immediately I'm interested in it. The second one is that Mura does have the potential to gas out and slow down, which could add to that. And the striking differential is so huge. So yeah, I know what you're saying. I've been burnt by it before as well, for sure. Um, but plus 400 actually feels pretty generous, to be honest, in a fight where she's going to have huge striking upside, I think. Do I want to get burned again? Not really, but it is kind of intriguing.
Yeah, maybe like a half unit play on that, or like maybe even like a round two, round three TKO line.
Yeah, I'll see. I'll have a look at what a round two. Wang wins in round two. Looks like it's about plus 750. Wang wins in round three is like a plus 1100. So again, they're all pretty they're pretty nice price tags. Like yeah, you don't want to get burnt again, but for that number, I might risk it. We'll see where we end up on that one.
Yeah.
All right, up the card to a very interesting fight. We have the first of the Basharat brothers on this card. Again, another bantamweight fight. A lot of bantamweight fights on this card. Usually bantamweight is pretty fun, so should be a fun one. We've got Said Nurmagomedov taking on Javid Basharat. Prices. This is a closely lined one. We've got Javid Basharat minus 130. The comeback on Said Nurmagomedov plus 110. Ryan, does Javid bounce back here and get into the dub column, or does Said? I don't know what Said does. Does Said get the dub over, a failing Javid on a two-fight loss streak, I believe?
Well, both of them are on two fight losing streaks. Saeed, he's lost to Bryce Mitchell, Vinicius Oliveira, while Javid got knocked out by Ricky Simone and lost as a minus 900 favorite against Ayman Zahabi. This is a fun fight. Saeed Nurmagomedov, he's a dynamic striker, got a wide arsenal of attacks, a lot of flashy techniques, spinning kicks, spinning back fists. He's got elusive movement and footwork, and I think we touched up on it earlier. One of his best weapons is his guillotine, which he's caught many people in. Like he just has a way of latching onto it and scrambles, and when opponents shoot, and he has a really tight squeeze. The thing with Saeed is that he has a pretty terrible gas tank. Fades after round one, but he pushes through. But he very much loses composure. And even when he's gassed, he throws a lot of big movements. He still tries to do spinning kicks, and um, yeah, I feel like he has poor IQ. He can be taken down and controlled. A lot of red flags for Javid. Arguably the worst Basharat, easily the worst Basharat.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Um,
not arguably.
yeah, this guy, like he tries to fight like his brother, and he's all right. Like he's a technical striker. He's fast with his hands. He's got good footwork. Okay, grappling. Like he is opportunistic with subs, but will most likely look to strike. Um, his game plan is mostly to just tag you up and absorb as little damage as possible for 15 minutes. Thing is, he has a crackable chin and he fights in close margins. Can't seem to stay the course of a fight. So I think there's is a little bit of similarities, though I think Javid is a little bit more poised. But in all honesty, I think Saeed gets the win here. Like even though he's a gasser, I don't think Javid Basharat pushes the sort of pace that will get Saeed to that point of fatigue. He doesn't have the pace that Vinicius Oliveira has. He doesn't have the pace that Jonathan Martinez had or Bryce Mitchell had. Like Javid would just be touching him from distance, and I feel will struggle to have sustained success as he doesn't have much finishing ability or pose much danger. He does have grappling in his back pocket though, but I think Said should be able to deal with that. Javid, he tends to fight in close margins, as I said earlier, and pull away with more activity. But here I can see Said pull away with his big moments through like explosive bursts of attacks, like his spinning kicks, back fists, and he might even latch onto a sub if they get in close, or maybe even get control time on the ground. Um, I just don't have any confidence that Javid can fight a clean 15 minutes against someone who's so tricky and unorthodox and put a stamp on rounds. But I also don't have confidence that Saeed won't have negative IQ moments trying to make things happen or maybe like slow down along the stretch. In saying that, I thought this fight would be lined so much closer, maybe with Saeed as a slight favorite. So seeing a plus 125 price tag on Saeed definitely forced my hand here as I feel there's a lot of value in that line. I told myself I'd never bet on this fucker again, but I think plus 25 was a very good price.
Great breakdown, man, and it's one that I fully agree with. I fully agree with. I think the price tag should be the other way around, to be honest. I think Sage should be minus 125. I think Bashrat should be the plus 125 underdog, to be honest. A few reasons for that. One, I think one thing you have to just mention straight away is Javid, that knockout against Ricky Simone was bad, really bad. He was out cold, very bad for a long time. Yes, he's taken a year off, but we don't know what type of version we're going to get of him here. To be honest, his chin could be completely gone after that. Like he got fucking flatline KO from Ricky Simone, of all people. Like Ricky Simone, of all people. I think that's a worrying sign, to be honest. Look, could he be fine? Yeah, for sure. But it's just something you have to take into your handicapping when you do it. The other thing, yes, Said's a gasser. We know this. He does slow down. But does Javid like push this intense pace? Not really. Like he does have good volume output and stuff like that. But it's not like he's going to punish you late. He's going to kickbox you from the outside. He's going to land like these, tippy tappy sort of fucking kicks and strikes. He's not really going to hurt you on the feet. So even if Said does gas in round three, I don't necessarily think that Javid's the guy that's going to come in here and punish him for it. I also think Said has huge upside in round one, purely off being more powerful, he's going to be the faster fighter in my opinion. He's going to have more speed in the kicks, in the hands, wherever he wants it. So yeah, I'm with you. I like the look of Said here. Yeah, he could come in here and shit the bed, but I don't know. We've seen against Said Jakub Kakramanov back in the day as well. Like that was a fight where he was having some success, but looked like he was on the way to losing that fight. And he pulled out that front ninja choke, whatever the fuck it was. Like he doesn't need a lot to get into that front headlock series and really punish guys. So I think that's a potential here. I think Said has upside on the feet, as you said, with big minutes. And I don't think Javid is going to be landing like massively big shots. So yeah, I'm pretty comfortable having a unit on Said Nurmagomedov at plus 125 as well, to be honest.
Love it.
Love when we agree on a nice underdog. It's hard to have confidence in a guy like Said, obviously, but it feels like a decent spot to get him in, I think.
For sure.
All right, up the card to women's strawweight. We've got Bruno Brazil taking on Ketlin Souza. Prices, we have Ketlin Souza minus 150, slight favourite. We come back on Bruno Brazil plus 130. Honestly, I really don't give a fuck about this fight, to be quite honest. I don't really know how to break it down. Like, I don't like either of these girls. I think both girls have pretty low ceilings, to be honest. Bruno Brazil, yeah, she has like some fun striking output at times, but I think she's pretty mid overall. Like, she doesn't like getting hit. We can see that very clearly. She doesn't like getting hit. Ketlin Souza can crack at times. Can be a bit of a melt, to be honest. I think she will come in here and try and take Brazil's head off, to be quite honest. But I think Souza's beaten way better girls than Brazil's even got close to. I don't know. I'm not. I just don't love this fight. I think it's weird. I don't really have a great read on either girl. I don't like either girl particularly much. I think I'd rely on the physicality and the quality of competition of Ketlin Souza a little bit more. And I think she deserves to be favourite. So I kind of think minus 150 makes sense. I don't want to be on the Brazil side. I think she's probably going to lose. She could potentially get finished. She could lose a decision. I think Souza's got more paths to victory. But I don't have a bet on this fight. I don't know if you've got much to add on this one.
Yeah, I had a look at this fight probably Sunday, like right after UFC 325, and the odds were flipped. It had Caitlin Souza as the underdog, and and then I did a little bit of tape that night, a little bit of tape in the morning. I checked the odds, and it completely flipped around. And I think I do agree with that. I don't think there's any more value in this fight. If anything, like if you were passionate from a Bruna Brazil side, then she is a middle of the pack level fighter, not quite good enough to fight in close margins with the top girls, but can look like she's at a good level against girls who are very poor. Like we saw it against Molly McCann and Ming Shi. Though I think Caitlin Souza is a bit more dangerous, more put together than McCann and Ming Shi, but she is like one of those small aggressive fighters who marches forward with like loopy shots. And I don't know. I feel like Brazil, if she shows up, I feel like she can neutralize it with cleaner striking, footwork, and able to match her grappling. But in saying that, I don't really trust Bruno Brazil at all. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, this is not a fight I want to get involved with, especially now that I feel like the odds now are correct.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty comfortable just passing passing on this shit show, to be honest. All right, we'll keep it moving up the card to a newly added fight. Do you have a breakdown for this one, given that it was just added recently?
I only saw this one yesterday. Nico, he's got I don't know. I don't know what his I'm pretty sure he has like what 8, 9, or 10 kids or something. I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah,
his
it's something
motivation.
ridiculous. Yeah.
So I'm sure that's his motivation for stepping in here. But he's 1-4 in his last fights. He's getting finished in brutal fashion. Um, he's got awkward striking, and he's always willing to engage at a war. He's been on both sides of highlight reels throughout his career, but like he's now at the latter end of the career at age 36. Like he's slower in his movement and his reaction times, and the durability he was known for has definitely disappeared. And he's honestly liable to be finished at any moment. But Veretenikov, he's not really that good. Like he's 1-3 in the UFC. He's coming off a unanimous decision loss to Puna Soriano. Um, his one win was a gift against Prado from memory. Like he probably should have lost that as he gave up like 7 minutes of control time. Um, at this stage, like I mean, they're both the same age, but I think Veretenikov just has a bit more to give. Like, and he does have like a sort of boring style of striking. Just looks to box and fight at a steady pace, jab his way into the pocket, throw combos. But I do think he might have the pop in his shots that can actually like hurt Nico Price at this point of his career. Yeah, this is a matter of a very mid fighter against a fighter that should really hang it up. So I think Veretenikov should win it, but this is not a fight I want to like even like think about getting involved with.
Yeah, this is a weird one. Like you said, just got added yesterday, so I don't have a lot to add on this one. I mean, in terms of the previous matchup, it was Veretenikov taking on the debuting Jose Souza, who I'm not sure how he's got into the UFC, given that he lost his Contender Series fight from memory. I don't know. I didn't love what I saw from Jose Souza, to be honest. Like, yeah, he's a massive guy and he's a decent kickboxer, but I was kind of interested a little bit in Veretenikov at the price in the previous matchup. Not to say that I'm interested in him as a fighter,
Um,
because, like you said, I think he's pretty mid. Like he's not really good anywhere, without being like good anywhere. To be honest, he just kind of like mixes everything in together somehow and kind of manages to make it work. But he kind of like I think he struggles to win fights. Like he struggles to put himself in position to win fights. Like in the Puna fight, there was a couple of times where he had really good position and in terms of the grappling area, and like there was a few deep submissions and stuff like that, and he fucked him up just by having like bad positional awareness, coming off too high up the back and stuff like that. So I think he can make mistakes. Nico Price, we know this isn't the best version of him. He's on a downtrend. I don't know. It's just an ugly fight. I don't really want to spend much time on it. I don't even know. Prices is like uh, Veretennikov's minus 275. I mean, if you can get to a guy like this for minus 275 in terms of a price, I don't understand it. I think he's terrible. It should probably never be 275, minus 275, but Nico Price is, he's not great at this point. So, yeah, I'm very happy to just keep it moving past that one, to be honest. All right, up the card. I think this is the prelim headliner. We have a welterweight bout between Alex Morono taking on Daniil Donchenko. Huge favourite price tag here for Donchenko. He's minus 800. The comeback on Morono plus 550. Ryan, does Morono somehow turn back the clock here, or does Donchenko just brutalize this nerd?
Yeah, I'll admit Morono is a guy that I have a soft spot for. Like I've bet him multiple times like throughout his career as an underdog, and he's pulled through. He comes in. He always comes in with like decent IQ. I just don't think he has the physicality and like the um, aggression to really put a stamp on fights and like get people out of there in exciting fashion. His only two wins in his last six fights was a round two guillotine over Tim Means and a unanimous decision over Court McGee, which was fought very closely in that fight. Those guys are two pretty washed fighters, and Morono is now a pretty washed fighter. Daniil Donchenko, this guy trains at Tiger Muay Thai, 10 finishes from 12 wins. Um, just came off a round one knockout of Cezinado. I do think he's going to get Morono out of there, but I have a feeling that he's going to build into the fight. Like he's a guy with he has 8 KOs, but five of them come in round two, and I think that he's someone that will like kind of just stand in front of you, trying to pick his spots, but then really go for it when the second round starts. So I think a round two play might be all right, though that means I will have to trust Morono's chin for the first round. Came off a pretty brutal knockout as well. Yeah, I think Donchenko should cover his price tag like against a very washed Morono at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get enthused about a guy like Morono at this point. Like, I don't know, I just think he's got other areas. He seems to just take like short notice fights and stuff like that at this point and just step in and get paychecks. He's got a gym, he does that, he coaches, he does all sorts of stuff. I really do think his priorities lie elsewhere. And like, at this point, he's 35, takes a lot of damage. He's had some bad knockouts like that Carlos Leal one, Chaos Williams. Like anyone who seems to have some decent power does seem to hurt him. And the only area I see him having success is obviously he is a pretty good grappler and can take advantage of some opportunistic positions. But I kind of think Daniil. I'm a little bit cautious, first off, because like when you get a big win on your debut and you look really good, there is sometimes a regression with these guys, and they come in their second fight and kind of shit the bed. But I don't know. I think he's just going to be too physical, too big. I think he's going to walk Morono down. Morono's just too hittable, and I think the power of Donchenko is probably just going to get him out of there within 10 minutes, I think. So, yeah, minus 800, unplayable from a money line perspective, but yeah, he should win here and win pretty well. Blind Freddy could probably tell you that. All right, up the card to light heavyweight. This is one I am a little bit confused by, to be honest, overall. We've got Dustin Jacoby coming in here against Julius Walker. Prices, we have Dustin Jacoby minus 185, the comeback on Julius Walker plus 160. They're saying Jacoby's in on short notice, but let's be real, he had a fight booked for last week in Sydney that got cancelled. So he's not, it's not like he's coming off the couch for this one. He's going to be ready for this one. Yes, he's an older guy, but can we just be honest? He's minus 185 again here against the guy in Julius Walker, who, in my opinion, has looked like shit in every performance we've seen him in. He's fought no one good on the regional scene, and he hasn't really even looked good on the regional scene. Like, this guy's winning by fucking the most random chokes and shit of all time. On the regional scene. I don't think he's very good. I don't think he's going to have success if he comes in here and wants to wrestle for 15 minutes. Like, I'm pretty comfortable that Jacoby's takedown defense will hold up. Like, Julius Walker's not a fucking, an instant takedown wrestler, to be honest. He's more of a clinch guy, wrap you up, tie you up, make it dirty against the cage and somehow make it work. But on the feet, I think Jacoby has such a big striking advantage here. I think you should dice him up on the feet, to be honest. Like, he's an older guy. Do I worry about his chin at this point? Yes. But is Julius Walker going to be the guy to take advantage of that? I really don't think so. Alonzo Manyfield had his way with him. It should have been a 30-27 victory, to be honest. He beat the shit out of him for most of that fight. not finishing Rafael Sakira on the feet or on the mat is an unforgivable sin, in my opinion. And now he gets a way tougher guy in Dustin Jacoby, who I think just has such a big striking advantage here. I think Jacoby could finish him on the feet. I think he could win by decision. I think his takedown defense is going to be fine. I'm kind of confused why it's only minus 185. I think he should be closer, like minus 250, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add. The only thing with Jacoby is he does have negative IQ, like in fight decisions. And he's sort of chinny and prone to lapses in concentration, just like with that Manyfield fight. And there was a fight where he tried to wrestle in round three of a fight he was losing, and yeah, and I didn't like the game plan of him rushing Dom Reyes. But in saying that, he should really like absolutely like run through Julius Walker like he. But I'm just cautious about Jacoby at all times now.
Yeah, I feel yeah. Yeah, he's at that point in his career where you just never know. But I don't know, man. Julius Walker just looks so bad, so bad.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep it moving up the card to a fun one, bantamweight. We've got Gene Matsumoto taking on Fareed Bashirat. Oops, sorry, let's get that back. It should look good. All right, prices we have Fareed Bashirat minus 265. The comeback on Gene Matsumoto plus 225. Ryan, talk to me about this one, my friend.
Yeah, I love this fight. I'm a big fan of both. Gene Matsumoto, he's 3-1 in the UFC, coming off a split decision win to Miles Johns, and his only loss was a split decision loss to Rob Font, which he probably should have gotten the win in. But yeah, if he's pretty well rounded, solid boxing and Muay Thai. He's high output, doesn't attack the body too much, which is interesting. He mostly headhunts and throws plenty of leg kicks. He's got good offensive grappling and submission game. He can be taken down often at times, like pretty easily, but he does work his way back up, doesn't accept position. And now we've got the better Basharat over here, coming off a
Yep.
unanimous decision win over Chris Gutierrez. After he had a 1 year layoff, he has good key wins over Taylor Lapillus and Damone Blackshear, which are aging very nicely. He's a very technical fighter, technical kickboxing, fights mostly orthodox but can switch. There's not much power in his hands, mostly point fights, but makes great reads and in fight adjustments, sets up head kicks very well. And he does use flashy techniques when he starts to get in his groove. And he's got great timing with his takedowns. He got 5 takedowns on Lapulus and 3 takedowns on Damone Blackshear. And he's very good at finding the sub when he has opponents on the ground. Typically, he chases that rear naked choke. Looking at the matchup, though, Matsumoto at plus 200 or around that line, it may look like value. And while I really like him and I've bet on him numerous times, I think this is a nightmare matchup. And I tend to agree with the price. Like, Matsumoto is a gamer, has a fun all action style, but he fights in razor close margins. He's there to be hit and there to be taken down, though he is good at working his way up and not accepting being on the bottom. But he just went life and death with Miles Johns and squeaked out a split decision win. Johns took him down 5 times and nearly matched him in significant strikes. And Johns is a very limited fighter. Before that, he lost a split decision he should have won against near 40-year-old Rob Font. And before that, won a very close decision against Katona. I know it was a unanimous decision win, but I think it was, like, you look at the numbers and you look at the fight, it was contested pretty closely. And all three of these guys are very straightforward fighters stylistically compared to Fareed. Like, Fareed won't be just standing there trading. He stays technical with his striking, active and elusive with his footwork, and
Yeah.
overall he's just so dynamic. He'll most likely be on the back foot or at distance most of the time, like letting Matsumoto take the lead. But he will give Matsumoto so many weapons to think about, while Matsumoto mainly comes forward, attacking leg kicks, headhunting, and being too happy to eat a shot to give one. And I don't think that's a good tactic here. I think Fareed should be a clear minute winner and clearly being the classier fighter with more output. And I think the optics of Matsumoto missing and being stopped in his tracks, getting tagged with counters as he's marching forward, will favor Fareed to the judges. Fareed also makes great in-fight adjustments too. Can already see him getting the timing of Matsumoto's naked leg kicks that he just spams and using that against him with like an overhand right over the top, or using that to take him down. And I do think he'll be able to time takedowns under Matsumoto's like combos. and also have more success getting control time. Though I do trust Matsumoto being able to work back up, but I think by that time, like he'd already been like on his back for like maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So yeah, I think Farid Basharat should win by decision here.
I like the breakdown, man. I'm in agreement. I think this is a fun fight, and I think both guys are like pretty well rounded. Probably Matsumoto a little bit more exciting, just because he'll mix it up and he'll get in close and he'll get in the pocket and want to box with you. But he is far too hittable, and Farid is way too safe defensively. That I don't think Gene's going to have a whole lot of success on the feet. And if he doesn't have success on the feet, and Basharat's kind of rinse and repeating these takedowns, top time, and controlling him, I do think he's kind of in for a long night, to be honest. I don't know. I just can't see Matsumoto. Like, I think he has a pure boxing advantage. Like, I think he's the more dangerous guy in close. But I just think Basharat's too safe. And if Matsumoto can't have success there, I feel like he's not really going to have success anywhere else. And it's just a little bit worrying if you're on there. So I agree with you. You said the plus 225, like you look at it and it feels like maybe it's value. But I kind of think that Basharat's is going to do what Basharat does. Like, I think he'll be probably the quickest striker on the outside, landing those choppy kicks in and out. And I think if he wants to move in and take the fight down and really dominate with top control, I think he will. To be honest, I think he'll be able to. Like Johns was able to take him down, take Matsumoto down. I think Basharat will have the same success. The issue is for me with Basharat most of the time is that he fights on bigger margins than Javid for sure, but he still has a bit of a lack of finishing upside, which worries me with the big price tags. I say it all the time. If you want to be this big price tag, generally you want to be finishing. And Matsumoto's a tough guy, so I'm not convinced that he finishes him. So I think Farid probably does what Farid does, comes in here, wrestles, chops on the outside, and probably wins like a Farid decision normally. So I think if you can get Farid like and over 1.5 rounds or something for like plus money, that feels like a pretty good play because I think that wins more likely than not. But yeah, Farid should win a decision here in my opinion. Keep the train rolling. I think the UFC's built him up pretty well, to be honest. I'm kind of wondering when he's going to get that step up in competition because he's fought like 5 guys who are pretty decent in terms of like a ballpark skill level. I'm kind of wondering when he's going to get that next step up because he's gone from
Yeah.
Chris Gutierrez, who was like around that edge of 15 kind of mark, and now he's gone to Matsumoto, who's outside the rankings, in the 25 to 30 range somewhere maybe. So I don't know. I think maybe after this one is the one that they give him a step up in competition. We see him against someone, in the rankings potentially. But I don't know. I thought we might have seen it sooner, just given how we've seen UFC build these guys sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Or we could see him against Rob Font.
Yeah, probably. That's probably what we'll get next. I don't know. The UFC is funny how they build some of these guys sometimes, but yeah, he looks a good prospect. He looks a really, really good prospect. I just wish he could get some more finishes, whether it was a submission. Like, he's never going to TKO guys, but if he could get some more submission finishes, it would be good for him, I think. But anyway, should win this fight in my opinion. Right, up to middleweight, we have Lord Mikhail Oleksiejczuk taking on Marc-Andre Barriault. Prices, we have Mikhail Oleksiejczuk minus 500. The comeback on Marc-Andre Barriault plus 385. Look, it does feel slightly scary having a minus 500 price tag on a guy who is like so limited in his skill set as Mikhail. But to be honest, I think he's looked much better in his recent run, to be honest. Like after he's moved to the Fighting Nerds, I think he has looked a better prospect. Yeah, it's against bad guys like Cedrics and Gerald GM3, who just isn't the same Gerald as we've seen. But look, it's pretty clear this guy's a fucking good striker, man. In terms of his pure boxing, he's a very good striker. If you let him get off in the striking realm, he's gonna hurt you at some point. And Mark, like, I just don't know about Marc-Andre Barriault in this one. Like, he thrives in these weird, gritty, like mixed, dirty fights where he's able to, I don't know, mix in some dirty boxing, move forward, get you in the clinch, dirty box, get on the outside. Like he doesn't thrive in clean fights, and I think Lord Mikhail is going to have success just staying on the outside and just piecing him up from the outside. I don't know if I worry about Marc Andre's chin. Like I kind of do because he's been worried about He's been hurt so many times at this point and had some pretty bad knockouts. Like that Joe Pyfer knockout was pretty fucking bad. And getting KO'd by Dustin Stoltzfus is a fucking pretty bad look in my opinion. So I think Macau comes in here and I think he hurts him within the first 2 rounds and puts him away. To be honest, he's just too hittable. Macau throws straight really really well. He's got good speed, good power. I don't think Marc Andre will be able to avoid the big punch for more than 10 minutes. And I think when Lord Mikal finally lands, I think it'll hurt Mark pretty bad, to be honest.
Yep, completely agree with you there. There's just no longevity in Marc Andre Barriot's style. Like he relies on his chin. Like he presses forward, forcing a phone booth style fight, looking to outwork and outlast his opponents, either in defeat or if he ends up on top, will try to get a TKO. But um, his chin is right there to be hit, and I don't think Mikhail Oleksiejczuk is someone he wants to get hit by. Like if you look at Marc Andre Barriot's wins as well, the guys he's drowning and finishing aren't really the heaviest hitters or the most explosive. Got the most explosive hands like Eric Anders, Julian Marquez, Jordan Wright, Abu Azaitar. Like he can, like those are guys with strikes he can probably absorb. But once he faces heavy hitters, he gets knocked out. Like Chidi, Joe Pyfer, Dustin Stoltzfus, who isn't really that impressive of a fighter. So yeah, it's just hard to see him path to winning this fight. So I'm gonna take Mikhail here. He should clean him up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, who would have thought that not training in your garage and actually going to a training camp with a game plan and other fighters there would actually help you be a better fighter? Crazy, crazy thought, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, up the card, we've got the feature fight of the night. We've got Jalton Almeida taking on Rizvan Kuniev. Prices we have Jalton Almeida minus 145, somewhere around there. Rizvan Kuniev, the comeback, plus 125, plus 130, somewhere in that realm. Ryan, I struggle to break down this fight, to be honest. I think it's a confusing one, and I think you can make cases for both guys. What do you think happens here?
Funnily enough, this is the one fight I don't really have a great read on. With Jonathan, you'd think he's surely out to make a statement, like after like losing to Volkov in a fight that in other areas of the UFC he probably would have gotten a 30-27. This might be a wake up call that he needs to get after it. And with Rizvan, like he's an interesting fighter. I just don't know how good this guy is. Um, he
Yeah,
definitely should have won that fight against Curtis Blades. But also like Blades kind of took him down like pretty easily early in that fight. And Blades, he's like one of those wrestlers that don't really like he'll just like lay on top of you. But if you can get back up, then it's like whatever. But Almeida, like he puts hooks in, like once he has you down, and
yeah,
once he puts his hooks in, it's pretty much game over. So it could be as simple as like Jailton like getting him down like in the first round, getting the hooks in, and just flattening this guy out. And with the narrative that like he's now this boring fighter. Like previous to that, he was getting a lot of finishes. Mostly like enjoying success against like the fat heavyweights with no grappling, and show like getting them out of there through ground and pound and subs. And yeah, in his last fight against Volkov, he just kind of just took him down and just laid there. Up against Derek Lewis too, he just took him down every round and just laid there, which wasn't a great look. Kuniev, I think he has all right enough takedown defense, but I think once when he gets him to the ground, I just think that Jalton should be able to have his way there. So um, again, I don't really have the best read on this fight. So I feel like Almeida's athleticism and his style, I think he has the potential to make this very easy. So I'm gonna go with Almeida, but yeah, I don't really have the best read.
yeah. I was hoping you'd have something stronger than that, because I kind of have the same read as well. To be honest, I'm like, I think it's confusing. I don't know where to put Kuniev yet. I think he will have some success in the UFC because he does seem like a pretty gritty guy. Like he was able to work back to his feet a couple of times against Blades and stuff like that. But as you say, Almeida probably has better top control and ability to hold position than a Blades. And to be honest, like Almeida does have a bit of a lack of he has had a lack of finish in his last couple ones, but he can finish in a multiple ways. He can get that rear naked choke. He can just bash you with fucking ground and pound. There's a few ways he can go, and I think the physicality and the speed, particularly in round one, means Kuniev is probably going to lose round one at a pretty high clip. I think like Almeida's just too good at getting to the legs and working, and I think he will probably win minutes in the first round. So I think you kind of have to give round one to Almeida. But Kuniev does seem like a pretty gritty guy who can work through, some adversity, and he has fought some decent guys. So, like, I wouldn't be shocked if Almeida wins round one, looks really good, and then falls off a cliff, starts to
Yeah.
fatigue, and Kuniev kind of starts to work him. To be honest, so I think there's like both guys have a few paths to victory in this one. Almeida's a little bit like flaky at this point. He's not a guy like a super trust in any realm. So I kind of, yeah, I wouldn't want to be on a side here, to be honest. I just don't know enough about Kuniev, and I don't trust Almeida enough. So I think hindsight is going to be really big in this one. Like, I think you could look back and go, oh, fuck, Almeida could have been like minus 250 there, and it looks like a discount.
Yeah.
But I think you could also look at Kuniev and go, holy fuck, like plus 130 or whatever was like such a big discount. He should have been a huge fave in hindsight after round one. So yeah, I think it's a confusing one, and it's not one that I really want to go out on a limb with. So, gun to my head, I kind of think Almeida's physicality round one, round two probably wins, but it's not one that I have with any confidence in any regard. All right, co-main event of the evening. We have Amir Albazi taking on Kyoji Horiguchi. Flyweight bout. This is a fun one. Prices, we got Kyoji Horiguchi minus 365 to minus 380-ish, somewhere there. The comeback on Amir Albazi plus 290 to plus 300. You'll get him for anywhere in that range. Um, like I say, I'm always kind of a little bit cautious of the second fight in the UFC after a big performance, especially covering the price that he did. What was he? He was plus
It was a
190
stupid price.
against the gear. Plus
Yeah.
190 against the gear. Like, this is a spot that I'm generally extremely cautious in. You get your second fight in the UFC, you overperform as a huge underdog, and now you come in at minus 395. It's definitely. I normally look at that and go, whoa, 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 let's hold the phone here. But to be honest, like, I don't know what to expect from Amir Bazi. I think he looked so bad against Moreno. Obviously, we know he was coming back from that neck surgery and stuff like that. Those surgeries definitely change you, and they can take some time to adapt to, particularly in a style where Abazi like relies on his wrestling because he's not a very good striker. That lack of athleticism from those neck surgeries can definitely play a huge part. So I don't know what version we're going to get of him here. You'd have to think it would be improved after all that time between the Moreno fight. But like, it's hard to get that Moreno fight out of your head where he just looks so lost in every area. And to be honest, like on the feet, I kind of think Kyoji's like footwork is going to give him fucking nightmares. Like, I think he might find it really hard to track Kyoji down for a lot of this fight. Um, I'm worried because this is a step up in competition from Tagir. But to be honest, I think a lot of the things that he did against Tagir will probably have success here. Like, I think a leg kick against Albazi will probably have a bit of success. And I think on the feet, Kyoji's probably the better striker. So, I mean, like, I do think Kyoji deserves to be favorite price. I just kind of think it shouldn't be that big. Like, I think it is a bit wide. I think minus 200, 250, somewhere in that range is probably the correct spot. So there does seem to be a little bit of juice and steam on the Kyoji price right now. Um, yeah, I just cannot get that Moreno fight out of my head. Like, he was low volume, he didn't land anything there. There's just a few red flags on the Albazi side. So yeah, I think Kyoji probably is the side, but it feels like a pretty wide price tag in my opinion.
Yeah, nice. I'm personally all in on Kyoji Horiguchi. I love this guy.
Like it.
I got into the UFC in around when I was like maybe 12 or 13, and that was during Horiguchi's first stint. Oh,
Oh, I'm back. I'm back.
oh, I thought I'd
No,
dropped out.
mate, sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, no good. All good. Yeah, so I got into the UFC around 2013, 2014, and I was during Horiguchi's first stint. So I clearly remember this guy, and I clearly remember him only losing to Demetrius Johnson in his run. He was 7-1 in the UFC at the time, and then right after that he just decided to go and conquer other promotions, and he has pretty good wins against like guys like Ben Yuen, Kai Asakura. Fought Sergio Pettis, beat him and lost to him, and yeah, I was very excited for his return back to the UFC, and I, I did catch him at plus 190 against Tagir. Was I overly confident? Not really, due to Kyoji pretty much looking his age at times. Like he is 35, but he's had 40 fights, nearly 40 fights, and in his last few fights before that Tagir fight, he started to kind of look like he's slowed down. He's relying a bit more on his grappling, and though he still has that very fast, explosive karate like style of like blitzing in with attacks and stuff, he just did look a step slower, and he's been knocked out a few times from memory. So I wasn't as confident, though I did think he was good value against Tagir, and man, he just exceeded all my expectations, and just he really turned back the clock and just destroyed Tagir Olimbekov like from the get go, and got that late finish at the end, which was a great sign. Amir Albazi, you're right. He looked very lost in that Brandon Moreno fight in
Yeah.
2024, and yeah, he's just had a rough run.
Oh my god.
You hear me good?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell just happened.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, Albazi's just been very inactive due to injuries, which has been plaguing his career. And yeah, I just don't have too much confidence in him, like in his career going forward. But if we just look at his style, like he's a grappler, looks to just take it down, ride out control time, get to the back or mount and find a finish. And I'm sure if you pair him up against like the right type of opponents, he can definitely like work his way back up. Um, but I just think stylistically, this will be a very tough one if he can't continuously get takedowns and control time. And with Horiguchi's tricky style of striking and blitzing movement, I find it hard to see Albazi constantly tracking him down, getting a hold of him, and getting him to the ground. Like I see Horiguchi damaging the legs with his low kicks, making Albazi a bit more flat-footed and stationary. And I see Horiguchi landing fast combos that Albazi just can't get out of the way of. And overall just giving him so much things to think about that he either like freezes up or gets like desperate in there. And even in grappling exchanges, Horiguchi has been relying on his grappling a lot more at this stage of his career, and is a much more explosive guy, even though he's much older. He's also like, which is a big plus, a primary trading partner of Pantoja, who is the best grappler in the division easily. Albazi is very tough, so I do see him fighting out till the end, though I don't rule out a Horiguchi finish at all. Like seeing as Abazi he said something along the lines of like being close to being paralyzed in his last fight. I don't know if you saw like an interview with someone, but
Yeah,
he said he was
his neck is all fucked up.
yeah, he said he was one punch away in that Moreno fight of being paralyzed, which like I hear something like that. Like I just don't know like how you're gonna go in like a
Bro,
15
if
minute
I'm the
fight.
commissioner, he's never fighting again in my promotion.
100%. So yeah, I think Horiguchi absolutely destroys this guy, which is a shame. I do like Albazi's personality, but yeah, I think a sneaky good play would be the Horiguchi KO line. So yeah, I'm all in on Horiguchi here.
Yeah, nice. I do think like after some time off and stuff, I do think we could see him look a better version than against Moreno. Like I think back to the Kai France fight, and yeah, that was definitely a robbery. But to compete with Kai that close is a pretty good sign, to be honest. So I think there is a world in which maybe this could be close, but he does just kind of seem like he's going to be a step behind on the feet and find it hard for 15 minutes. Let me have a look at the Kyoji KO price for you. Horiguchi by TKO looks like it's going to be about plus 500, so you're getting a really juicy number there. Um, I wouldn't even go the unders because I feel like it's probably slim pickings. But hey, you never know. If
Yeah.
you want to get less volatile, you could look the unders. But hey, plus 500 on that sounds pretty good. All right, main event time. I'm pretty excited for this one.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's a very exciting fight. I'm curious to see what you think of it from just a breakdown perspective and from like the UFC's perspective. But we've got Mario Batista taking on Lockdog Vinicius Oliveira. Love this guy. We've cashed him a few times. We get
Oh,
Batista minus 160, minus 170. Vinicius Oliveira Lockdog, we get him at plus 140 to plus 145 ish, somewhere in that realm. How do you feel about this one?
oh, I'm very, very, very excited about this. Like I do like Mario. He's someone who has grown on me.
Yeah.
I'll admit, like I'm a big Jose Aldo guy, and after that fight, I was a
Oh,
big Mario Batista hater.
oh
But
yeah.
his work since then has been great, and losing to Umar, it only like that loss only showed me how good like Batista like it can be like competing
Yeah.
that well. Like he's a very well rounded guy. He's got sharp boxing and grappling. Like stays active with his footwork. He throws plenty of low kicks from distance, and then comes in with well timed boxing combos. Usually, it's pretty simple boxing combos. Usually, like a 1-2, like usually ending with his rear hand to the head or body before getting back to space. He's got a high work rate, perfect cardio for a 5 rounder. So I reckon this will be to his advantage. He's got pretty high level grappling too. So he's a strong wrestler, great scrambling ability, and slick jujitsu. And he's got great takedown defense. And his anti grappling ability is very solid. Solid. Like he held his own against Black Shear and Simone, and he really made Umar work for it. Vinicius Oliveira, one of my favorite fighters. He's 4-0 in the UFC right now. He fights like a fucking Terminator. Marches forward nonstop with his hands low, fights from both stances. He's got wild and unorthodox striking. Like he'll throw from all kinds of angles and punches come from his hips. And like everything he throws is just with intent of getting a knockout. Puts everything into his kicks and he'll erupt with into flurries of wild hooks in succession, and he's very physical, strong in the clinch, has effective grappling and anti-grappling too, with good takedown defense and fast sprawls. It does take him a round to get going, but he really turns it on in round two, and I think he's got a good gas tank though. He does slow down just a little, like while but he does keep the pressure. As for this matchup, Batista is the more put together fighter, fundamentally more superior, cardio advantage in my opinion. And though Oliveira brings a lot of physicality and has shown good grappling chops, Batista will be able to dictate the grappling exchanges. And especially early, I see a lot of success for Batista. He will I reckon he will outclass him and show levels to start this fight without a doubt in my mind. Like Oliveira marching forward with his hands low will be is very ill advised against Bautista's lunging boxing combos. Like I feel like he'll be snapping his head back often, getting back to range, landing low kicks, coming back in with combos, and then can change it up and go for a takedown or clinch against the cage. And I definitely don't rule out Batista even getting a finish. He does hit hard, and though Oliveira has a rock solid chin, I do think Batista does carry more pop in his hands than anyone that Lockdog has fought in the UFC so far. But honestly, if this fight goes into the later rounds, I just can't imagine Batista pitching an absolute shutout. I don't think he can maintain all momentum for 25 minutes against this style. Like, and typically when Oliveira gets any momentum, he constantly builds on it, and it's usually like he's not it like snowballs. Even
Yeah.
though Mario is more suited is a more suited 5 round fighter and technically superior, I think Oliveira evens the playing field by his non-stop pressure. Oliveira doesn't have as good of a gas tank, but he still fights effectively as long as he's the aggressor, and it's much more tiring fighting on the back foot. If Oliveira is walking through everything, marching him down, and starting to build success of his own by landing big hooks, damaging kicks, and imposing his physicality on Batista, I can see it being closely fought. Batista isn't the most defensively sound fighter as well. Even Patchy Bix landed like good shots on him throughout their fight. And maybe the power, pressure, and pace can wear on Batista and force him to clinch and hold on for dear life like he did with Jose Aldo. Like the optics there did not look good for him. So um, I do lean Batista. I think he can probably win a 48-47 or 49-46, but at the price, I'm locking in a 1 unit bet on Lock Dog for at plus 160.
I love the breakdown, and there's plenty that I agree with in there. Like Bautista definitely, I think he should be the favourite here purely because we know what to expect from him in 5 rounds. Like his output's going to be good. He's going to likely maintain it throughout those rounds. And there is a bit of a worry on we haven't seen Vinicius over 5 rounds, and he doesn't really. I don't think he necessarily looks suited to 5 rounds, but I mentioned it about BSD, Benoît Saint Denis, earlier. Like that style of just wearing on your opponent, moving forward, being that Terminator, and bringing like people to your level, it does really equate for a lot. And I kind of think that's what a lockdog does in a lot of his fights. He's able to just push you with pace and pressure and land those big shots and those leg kicks and just drain on you to eventually bring you down to the level where you're both so fatigued that he has more to give. And he's so fucking physical. It's his best trait. He is so physical that I love it here. I think he will have a physicality advantage here, but I think Bautista, will also have a speed advantage, particularly in the boxing, in close in the pocket. The one thing that worries me is that Vinicius has been hurt a couple of times to the body, so I think while his head and his chin looks pretty good, I think he can be hurt to the body at times. So I think Bautista will be looking for that. But to be honest, like coming off a Kyler Phillips win, yeah, they're in the same camp, him and Mario Bautista, but it does bode well here, in my opinion. Like if you can beat a tricky, striker like Kyler, who I would say is probably more dangerous on the feet than Mario. I think you can compete well enough with Mario here. So I kind of get why Mario's minus 165 purely off the 5 round experience and stuff like that. And he has looked good and he's probably more well rounded than Vinicius. But I agree. Like I kind of think Vinicius is going to get in his face and just make this a gritty, dirty fight. Like I think he will have success hitting Mario to the body, to the legs, to the head. I think Mario is pretty good defensively, but there's only so much you can do against a guy like Vinicius who's literally just going to Terminator walk you down, and just stay in your face for so long. So, yeah, I'm kind of intrigued on the Vinicius side. I haven't played it yet, but I kind of feel like if I was to play something on this fight, I think I would be on the lockdog side as the underdog price, to be honest. I think he has decent upside early. Like, yeah, he probably will lose round one given the trajectory of like his career so far. That's been typically what happens, but I think he's just going to sap the gas tank of Mario, and I think there is a world in which he, wears him down with leg kicks, attacks the body, and then somehow gets him out of there. Maybe like a knee up the middle or something like that. I think he could land something crazy like that. And if he doesn't, I think there's also a world he slows down and maybe Mario ramps the volume up, attacks that body, and potentially gets him out of there as well. So I'm kind of looking the violence option as well. Under 4.5 is minus 140. I think that's a pretty good look. I think it's more loaded to the Vinicius side of getting a finish, but I also think with the unknown of the 5 round for Vinicius and the cardio question, I think there's a realm in which Mario wins by a stoppage as well potentially. So I like violence as my most favoured pick, but I'm kind of intrigued by a Vinicius underdog play as well. So I can see both of those coming off. Legit MMA says I like Oliveira by knockout. Not super confident, but it's my pick and I bet on it. I kind of feel the exact same way, to be honest. Like I feel like Mario probably should be favoured, but it feels like if I was to play anything, it's dog or pass.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree there. Like I can just see like maybe round three, round four, maybe both of them being like tired, and
Definitely.
Oliveira just marching him down, and Mario just not giving like that the best optics, and like Oliveira's success just snowballing like that. That's usually how he gets his wins too.
And I think the UFC, I think we know who the UFC wants to win in this one. Well, I think it's pretty obvious who the UFC wants to win in this one. They like Lockdog. He's calling out big names. He's way more exciting than Mario at this point. So I kind of think they're putting their eggs in his basket, but that doesn't, that's not the be all and end all. So yeah, I like it. I think it's a fun fight. I'm intrigued to see it. Let's go bottom to top. Final picks. Any bets you want to give out, and we'll get out of here. What do you reckon?
Let's do it.
Okay, Claudia Sagula, Priscilla Cachoeira.
Claudia Saigula.
Yeah, I don't know. Just a pass for me, to be honest. I'm not intrigued. I think Sagula should win, though. Muin Gafarov, Jacob Big Watch.
Gafarov.
I'm going to go Viklac. I think he probably gets a guillotine, and I like under 2.5. That's my play on this fight. I haven't played any money lines. I like under 2.5 plus 125. That's mine. Wang Kong, Eduardo Mora.
Wang Kong.
Yeah, I'll go Wayne Kong. I'll have a nibble on the TKO line and get burnt again. I'll do it. Said Nurmagomedov, Javid Basharat.
Saeed Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, Said Nurmagomedov for me as well. Bruno Brazil, Ketlin Souza.
Caitlin Souza.
Yeah, I'll go Souza too. I don't really give a shit. Nikolai Veretennikov, Nico Price.
Veretennikov for me.
Yeah, I mean, gun to my head, I'd pick Veretennikov, but yeah, I mean, if you bet him at minus 275, you've got rocks in your head. Alex Morono, Danil Donchenko.
Danil Donchenko probably gets a finish.
Yeah, I agree. Dustin Jacoby, Julius Walker.
Dustin Jacoby.
Yeah, Dustin Jacoby. Kind of feels trappy given he's only minus 185. I feel like he should be wider, but we'll see what happens there. Gene Matsumoto, Farid Basharat.
Farid Basharat.
Yeah, I think Farid wins, probably decision. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, Marc-Andre Barriut.
Going with Lord Mikhail here.
Yeah, Lord Mikhail for me also. Should get that TKO win. Jalton Almeida, Rizvan Kuniev.
Jailton, but very, very reluctant on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's about as low confidence as it gets. I think Almeida as well, but yeah, nowhere near betting. Amir Albazi, Kyoji Horiguchi.
My boy Kyoji Horiguchi.
Yeah, I think Horiguchi probably wins as well. You like the KO prop as well, a little sprinkle. And the main event of the evening, Mario Bautista and Vinicius Oliveira.
Look, I lean Mario Bautista, but I'm picking and betting on Vinicius Oliveira.
Same for me. Feels like value. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is UFC Fight Night Bautista Oliveira coming up this weekend. Very excited for this card. Got plenty of bets, plenty of actions. Should be a good one. Looking forward to that. Do we have a week off next week confirmed?
I'm pretty sure we do.
Let me just check. Looks like we do. The next event will be Strickland versus Hernandez. I think that's week off and then into that, which should be a fun little card. There's plenty of names on that one, so looking forward to that one. So, anything you want to sign off with, my friend, before we get out of here?
No, mate. This is another sleeper card, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm excited. So good to have fights back. Looking forward to watching this entire card, top to bottom, not doing fuck all else and making a shit ton of money. If you haven't, go follow your boy Desperate Times Ryan on Twitter at Desperate Times with a Z1. You can follow me at Provide Picks or at Triple Sport. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your mates. Thanks for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We love you. Good luck with your bets this weekend. We'll see you next time.